welcome to my YouTube channel, Kelly Fullman, Be the Hero and Rescue Yourself. So it looks like I have finally figured out what kind of content that my subscribers and other people like to view, and my leadership lessons have been pretty popular. So I'm going to do a few leadership lessons from some things that I have learned, either from leaders or me being a leader myself. And it's funny because we all talk about, and I was even talking about this with my neighbor yesterday. We were talking about corporate America and why on God's green earth are we still reporting to bad managers, bad leaders? Why? What's the deal when we see statistic after statistic, article after article in LinkedIn and Harvard Review that great leaders, great managers, they help increase productivity and revenue and bottom line and employee engagement, but we continue over and over and over to hear that people leave companies not because of the company they work for, it's because of the bad management, bad leadership. So why are we still reporting to crappy leaders? Number one, top three things on why you're still reporting to a crappy leader. Number one, the biggest thing that I've seen is that a lot of leaders and a lot of companies still cater to the bottom line, which is the revenue. And so when your manager or your leader is on a phone call, which is their executive call, or they're doing their Monday call, or their end of month call, or quarterly call, and the first thing out of their leader's mouth is, okay, where are you as revenue, operating expenses, what's, how many, what, all of it is all numbers. None of it is, so how's your team doing? How are you doing? What do you need to be able to help your team out as a leader? What training and development do you need to be able to become a better leader? How's the team mentally? How are they, how are they doing morale wise? What are some of the new things that they have come up with to help have better processes or be able to hit those revenue goals? Any new projects that we're ahead on, or what are some new findings that you found? None of that is the first thing that they start out in a call. So whatever you lead with in a conference call with your team, or when your leaders lead with your team, that is the first thing that you're going to be worried about and concerned about. So then that trickles down to your leaders, that all they're worried about is numbers, because that's what their review is on. That's what their bonuses are on. The worst thing I've seen is not revenue. It's operating goals. It's operation. How can we keep expenses down, and can you keep them down enough? And then you'll get your bonus. So then you've got leaders that don't even worry about revenue. They're not going to help you come up with new and amazing ways to be able to hit your numbers. They're just going to be worried about, are you, staying in a hotel that's too expensive? Or are you, doing car rentals instead of Uber? Or are your meals, too expensive? Or are you taking out too many clients? And are you traveling too much? Is your airfare too expensive? So that's going to be the conversation they're going to have with you, not how can I help you meet your goals so you can hit your bonus, or you can get a raise at the end of the 6 months or at the end of the year. All they're worried about is their bottom line. So that's number one. We're still talking about revenue. So instead of employee engagement and how we can help our people grow and deliver on that bottom line, and what are the behaviors that we need to start looking at and seeing, right, to be able to help them grow and advance and come up with new ideas to be able to hit their numbers, we're more worried about, okay, what's your numbers? Basically, y'all have had these one-on-ones with your bosses, and I've had way too many. Okay, what's your number? What's in your pipeline? How much do you have so far? Okay, what do you think you're going to bring in this month and this quarter? Okay, what do you think you're going to end with this year? That's it. How is that going to help me? meet my numbers and my goals? And even how's that going to help me be able to, learn anything or build on anything, right? Number two, why you're still reporting to a crappy leader. They don't build in leadership behaviors on what they're going to be judged at the end of the year, end of the quarter, so all they're being judged on are numbers. So there's no equal amount of behaviors that these leaders are being judged on or reviewed on, and they won't take a hit if they don't deliver on the behaviors of whatever. So sometimes companies and organizations do have leadership behaviors and they have it on a wall, and this is, how you can become a leader, and we're going to look at all of these, KPIs, and we're going to see if you've taken all these classes, and if you've hit all these, deliverables and all this other kind of stuff. Now, you can become a leader within our organization, and you have to live by these behaviors. Okay, here's your piece of paper, here's your email, congratulations, you're a leader now. But when it comes to review time, they're not equally yoked. So the numbers, you got to hit your numbers. That's how you're going to get your bonus. That's how you're going to continue to keep your job as a leader. That's how you're going to continue to be able to move up the ladder or whatever you want, or get kudos or pats on the back. But these behaviors over here on what great leaders should do to help their employees grow, those aren't equally looked at. And if you're not delivering on those as a leader, then, oh well, you still get promoted, you still get the new title, you still get everything that you wanted because you delivered on the numbers, but your team is miserable, but nobody knows that because nobody's asking. And nobody's looking at the behaviors and putting them at an equal stance. So when you get your review, even though you've hit your numbers, if you have a bunch of dead bodies behind you hitting your numbers, then you're going to take a chunk or a dive in your promotion opportunities and your bonus, because even though you're up here with your numbers, your team is miserable, and turnover is going to hit very soon, and then your numbers are going to drop. So reason number one is all they care about is numbers. Reason number two, the review system is rigged, because all they do is reviews and bonuses on numbers. They don't do reviews and bonuses on behaviors that leaders need to live by every single day to be able to maintain their bonus or even their job, or to be able to move up within the company. Third reason why you're still reporting to a crappy leader: they promote top performers to be leaders. Not always top performers are your best leaders. And let me give you an example. So when I was promoted to go from assistant high school programs manager or director, assistant director, to director of high school programs over all of Texas, even though I was an assistant director, I still had numbers I had to hit. And even before then, I still had numbers I had to hit before I was promoted. There was this other guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but he was hitting stuff out of the ballpark. He was, eons as far as numbers were, out there. But he wasn't doing it the right way. So even though he had the numbers, he was doing it his way. He wasn't doing it the way that home office had taught us. He wasn't doing it the way that our director had taught us. He wasn't even doing it the way that me, his assistant director, had taught us. But yet he was knocking stuff out of the ballpark, and he was just getting numbers. He didn't care what bridges he burnt. He didn't care if they were solid lead opportunities for our admissions advisors to be able to have. It was just a massive amount of numbers. And here I was, consistent. And here I was, visiting the campus, building relationships, bringing schools and teachers and technology teachers onto our campus, building relationships with schools that didn't want DeVry University anywhere in their school system, because they thought that we were a technical school that wouldn't help students find jobs. But there I was, and then maintaining my relationships with my team, going out and helping them with, whatever they needed so they could be successful. And he applied for the job as director of high school programs for Texas, and along with me. And the reason why I thought I wasn't going to get it, because what have I seen over and over and over again in my history is top performers get promoted, but they don't always make the best leaders. So what Aaron McCardell did is he actually looked at, not only am I a consistent contributor, but do I have the behaviors that he wants to consistently see as a leader on his team that will not only increase the level of professionalism in Dallas, but also Houston, also Austin, also San Antonio, and am I a compassionate leader? Because unfortunately in Houston they had a assistant director there that interviewed and applied for the director of high school programs, and he was never there for his team. He was never supportive. He wouldn't answer the phone, and come to find out later on after I took over, I had to let him go because he was working another job. So he wasn't hitting his numbers, but he was able to kind of, fly around it because there was really no one there to kind of look at what he was doing and what he was doing every day. So, here's the thing. If you are an executive in an organization and you really want to start seeing your employee morale increase and your engagement increase and your retention of employees to increase, and then from then you're like, well, is this going to deliver on, great customer service where I'm going to see an increase in revenue? Yeah. I mean, have you read the statistics? Have you seen the amount of money that you can save if you don't have to continually hire people because they're leaving because you have bad leadership? So you have got to stop rewarding bad leadership, and you have got to put a line in the sand and say, you know what, these are the behaviors that we are going to judge you on at the end of your review along with your numbers. And they both have to be there. Even though you may hit your numbers, if you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do as a leader, at some point those numbers are going to fall. I wish this was common sense, but it's not. So, number one, stop focusing on just the numbers. Focus on the behaviors that you want to see in people. Focus on how you can arm and give your leaders the tools to be able to help their team be happy and motivated and have, the ability to learn how to create different processes and create new ideas to be able to hit their numbers. Number two, judge them on behaviors, not just numbers at the end of their review. Because if you keep promoting people who have bad leadership behaviors, they're going to create and develop more people that have bad leadership abilities. Number three, don't just hire your top performers and then shove them into a leadership role and then expect them to get it just like that. 9 times out of 10, your highest performers are not going to make your best leaders. I said 9 times out of 10, not always. And make sure that you give your leaders, your new leaders, your baby leaders that you move from front line to a leadership role, make sure you give them some classes and give them the tools and give them the opportunity to learn the craft of being a leader, because it is completely different from being an individual contributor to having to depend on a team to be able to make the numbers that your boss asks you about every day. So, those are your top 3 reasons on why you're still reporting to a crappy leader, is because corporate America still rewards crappy leadership. Take care, guys, and y'all be sweet.
Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast, Be the Hero and Rescue Yourself with Kelly Fullman. If you enjoyed listening to my podcast or watching this YouTube video, please follow or subscribe to my channel and walk with me through my journey of celebrating my very own heroes and an opportunity to learn the valuable lessons they taught me over the years, which allowed me to gain the courage to wear my very own cape and be the hero of my life. You can also follow me on Instagram at K Fullman, that's KFUHLMAN, at Facebook /KFullman1 or on LinkedIn, Kelly Fullman MBA. Also, please leave your comments below because I see feedback as a gift and it will guide me on how to help you gain the courage you need to rescue yourself. Be sweet, y'all. Thanks.